I started crying heavily. It was like 2:30 in the night, and it was Anil sir's first day of on the sets. So he walked in for a shot, and he saw me crying, and the minute I saw him, I started crying even more heavily because I felt like, I wanted that emotional,
That time, I actually met a very young KK who had one of the most incredible ranges in his voice. I was taken aback when he sung a jingle for an ad film for one particular product.
You're watching India.com Z with Jigyasa Sahay. And today we are in conversation with a very talented actor and director duo. So we have with us today Divya Khossla and Abhinay Deo. Welcome.
Thank you.
And a big congratulations on your film Savi. The trailer is out and it is so intriguing and people are loving it. I mean, the comment section is filled with all the praises about the actors, about seeing you again in this role. So it's very exciting. So, to start with the captain of the ship, I want to understand कि आपने एक जगह बताया कि how एक mythological inspiration है the Savitri and Satyavan story, and I also get कि Savi, is it taken from Savitri?
Yes,
Savi,
yes.
Right? So how did you establish this link between a old lore and this suspense thriller? How did you establish that?
Actually, the way it started was that it evolved itself, as we were going along. Because when the screenplay was being written, I started realizing that it is, it's reminding me of something continuously. Because the film was all about a very simple person who is unassuming person who fights for her loved ones. And I kept reminding myself as to what was it? And then at one point, it suddenly dawned upon me that I must be 4-5 years old when my grandmother used to tell me this story and about Savitri. And that time it felt like a bizarre story because it was, of course, आप यमलोक में जाके यमराज की मतलब मौत के दरवाजे से आप ले आ रहे हो अपने हस्बैंड को वापस. Sounded very unbelievable. But suddenly, 50 years later, when I'm sitting here, looking at that similar story, and it suddenly struck that, it is so similar. And it ended up becoming, from there onwards, the driving force of the screenplay. That Savitri story. And from there, we started then going into Savitri, that her name is, Savi is drawn out of Savitri. And furthermore, that it is exactly kind of a metaphoric analogy of the same idea, which is the Savitri Satyavan story. So it evolved. It was not a conscious effort from our side, but the way the screenplay evolved, it just fit into place beautifully. And now it is so much the new age version of that story that we have heard many times. You know?
True. Like when I got to hear this, it's there's an inspiration sort of. So I was like, wow, I was taken aback. And also the trailer at the end, it has this very unique thing for the viewers and I loved it. So kudos to that as well.
Thank you.
So coming to you, Divya, we have seen you in different characters. Last, I think we saw you as this, happy-go-lucky girl. And now it's a totally different character. And, हमने बहुत women के ऐसे characters देखे who are bold, who will fight for their family, for their loved ones and go all out. So, what is this one thing that sets Savi apart? And what is it that you resonated with the character personally?
I think, like my director always says, that he casted me because of my vulnerability. So I think that is something that's very, that this woman has. Like, she's a normal, simple, vulnerable woman. She's not a strong woman. She's not a, she's not been exposed so much. All she cares for is her family. And जब कोई family पे बात आती है तो every woman वो किसी भी हद तक जा सकती है. So that is what Savi does when it comes to her family, and she's left with no choice, no option in life, and she has to fight. Then she draws that inspiration, that courage, that determination from within herself. So I think it kind of resonated with me, as well as it kind of it's Savi is like every woman will see herself in Savi and Savi in herself, because women, they are very simple. They're just housewives, you know, at times that we very easily say, oh, she's just a housewife. But it's that, a woman is never just a housewife. She's like the whole she's the nurturer of the family. She's the one who's the backbone of the family. Otherwise, everything would collapse. The entire world around her would collapse. So she's the one who's holding it, strengthening it, nurturing it, and, growing it up. So I think that is what the movie also shows. Like, how much strength there is in every woman. So I think every woman will feel empowered. Like, we did have a few screenings of the movie recently in Jaipur and Indore, and we have started getting amazing feedback, because there the women were saying in the screening कि कभी भी किसी भी औरत को हार नहीं माननी चाहिए, you know. So this is what the movie is also trying to portray. So I think it's a great example.
Definitely. So, if I have to ask, what is a difference between Divya, the wife, and Savi?
I think, see, for me, when I portray, obviously there will be lots of similarities, but when I pick a character or portray a character, I make sure that I'm never seen in, like, Divya is never, you can never see even a glimpse of Divya in that character. It is that character, Savi. Like, even the previous character, like you said in my earlier movie, Yariyan 2, I portrayed, that was a very cute, bubbly girl. That character was written on the way I am in real life. So my directors wrote it like that. But Savi is a completely different character. So she's not ambitious. She wants to be in house. She is happy being in housewife. I'm quite ambitious in my real life. But yeah, some things are similar, like maybe the innocence or the vulnerability. But there was a question that was raised to me at the trailer launch. A journalist asked that, will you do a crime if you have to for your family? So that was an interesting question which started making me think that kya bolu suddenly. And Bhatt sir answered it. He said, if something happens to my family, I'll do a crime for my family. But what I would like to say is that I, as a person, I will always stand for righteousness. Like, if I have to fight for something, then it has to be for righteousness. And Savi here, you will get to see what she does in the movie. I don't want to reveal much. She, of course, plans a jailbreak and goes about executing it. So it's a very thrilling and, very intriguing experience.
So, Abhinay, I want to know, keep working with, such a veteran filmmaker like Mukesh Bhatt ji. So, I'm sure, बहुत exhilarating, बहुत amazing experience रहा होगा. But if you have to choose, pick one, what was the best and the most challenging aspect for you?
Most challenging aspect of making the film?
With working with Mukesh Bhatt.
Oh, with working with him?
Yes.
No, Mukesh sir makes the environment, the working environment, extremely conducive for the director. So actually speaking, he takes the challenges out.
Yeah.
The good part about Mukesh sir is that, and being such a veteran, is that he's done more than 75 films. Or I think 75 films actually. And in 75 films, the one thing that he has managed to do is to be able to make the process of filmmaking extremely comfortable for the team. Moreover, the director, because ultimately the vision is the director. So the director needs to be supported by the producer in his vision. And then the actor, which is to make the actor comfortable enough. And that's exactly what he does. So really speaking, there were, no challenges really. I would say that a self-inflicted challenge would be that when I'm working with somebody as veteran as him and somebody so senior and who comes from a family of filmmakers who is so, known and renowned, my self-inflicted challenge was that I must, stand to the test of this man.
So, in the trailer, we have seen how Anil Kapoor has these different versions of him, like a clown and a man with a beard and everything. So, as a co-actor, Divya, how was it working with him in the sense that when koi scene unke saath hai? So, was there any particular rule or anything that you had to be mindful about? Okay, aaj unke saath short hai, so I have to be like before time. Yeah, there was a routine that you needed to like prep up for the shoot. Aisa kuch tha?
See, I'm very confident in my work, So I'm nervous and insecure only till I don't feel that I have become that character, and I do my homework before. So by the time I reach the set, I am that character. You know, I'm living her life. So I don't feel insecure or not confident working with any actor. So anyone in front of me, I see him also as that character. So for me, he was that character, and I never think, oh, he's, you know, he's a legend and I look up to him. And I think all our scenes, I think our chemistry has come so amazing because he is so passionate about his work. So I was giving my all, he was giving his all. So, and the exchange, you know, sometimes what happens when you're performing with certain actors, that exchange is so amazing that it just, you feel that energy. So with Anil sir, I felt that energy. So some scenes.
Go on.
Sorry, what?
What is your best memory of him, like on the sets?
So I was shooting, it was the 10th day of shoot, and we were shooting an action sequence. And all the rehearsals went on fine, but during the shot, the fighter just picked me from here and he threw me. And I went and crashed into an iron grill, and my whole cheek went. There was a huge bruise, or ऐसे swollen हो गई, and there was full of blood and all. I started crying heavily. It was like 2:30 in the night, and it was Anil sir's first day of on the sets. So he walked in for a shot and he saw me crying, and the minute I saw him, I started crying even more heavily because I felt like, you know, I wanted that emotional, you know, condolence from him, but he just said, picture hit hai, picture hit hai. So I didn't understand, what is he saying? So he said, I'm 68 years old, and whenever an actor has got hurt on the set, that movie becomes a hit. And I was like, I'm not even bothered about the fate of the film right now. All I want is कि मेरा चेहरा ठीक हो जाए, recover. There's no mark left, because, you know, for me as an artist, my face is my selling point, and how would I work after this? But he was like, he was trying to, you know, like motivate me, but his way was like different, like that of a fighter, like get up, you know, just
you can do it,
go for it and all. So I think he was very inspiring.
So now my question is to both of you, ki, as the filmmakers, you know, how important is the success, if you have to measure in terms of the box office collection, and how like the failure impacts you, like takes a toll on you, maybe mentally? How is that?
See, success of a film obviously is very important to all of us. Because ultimately, while I'm just the director on this project, I'm making the film, somebody has put in money. And that person has to get his money back, you know, and make a profit. Otherwise, because ultimately we have to remember that while it's a creative business, the word business is still attached to it. It is a business. You know, people are, you know, there is a financier actually ends up supporting a whole bunch of people who are working on this project, you know. So a box office hit is imperative, is very important. At the same time, having said that, unfortunately, a box office hit can't be predicted. Particularly in today's day and time, it can't be predicted at all. So the only thing that we have in our hands, put in all your effort into the film, make the best film that you've ever made, and that's the way I work, which is, this is my first film and last film. Every film and every project that I do, I do it as, this is my first film, and this is also going to be my last film. You have to work like that. You know, कि ये है, बस. You know, and after this, if audience and the industry decides to give me one more chance to make another film, I thank them tremendously and make the next film again in the same way. First film, and that's my last film. So I think that's all that we have in our hands. But we really hope, and we are praying that this film is loved by people, because we have worked our, you know, bums out on this film. So yeah, it is important. Box office hit, extremely important.
Divya, what do you have to add on that?
So I'm very grateful that I've got the opportunity to do this film. And I pray to God that, you know, the film becomes a big hit. And I think, like Sir said, it is very, very important, you know, because when you put in your everything, your blood, sweat, heart, soul, everything into it, then after that, you know, all you can do is pray to God that, you know, He makes it a hit, because ultimately we have made the film for the audience so that they like it. And as an artist, that's the most important thing and valuable thing. And thing that I really cherish, that audience loves my work, loves my film, and goes and watches in the theatre.
Definitely. Very well put. So, moving on towards the end, जैसे कभी recently गाना आया है by the legend KK sir. So, you know, if I have to ask, what is your last memory, your happy memory with him, like both of you?
Look, I have two memories. One which is an extremely happy one, one which is an extremely sad one. My first happy memory, the first one, which is the happy memory, was exactly 30 years back. Okay, which is 1994, when he sung the first jingle for me, for my ad film. That time, I actually met a very young KK who had one of the most incredible ranges in his voice. I was taken aback when he sung a jingle for an ad film for one particular product. And I was like, whoa, this guy is amazing. You know, what kind of a range does this voice have? And he was young. Talking about 30 years back.
Yeah, of course.
I was also very young at that point of time. And we actually struck a good friendship at that point of time. Of course, I wouldn't say we were great friends because we were acquaintances. I met him many times after that. But the sad memory was very disturbing because I was actually filming in shooting a series in Kolkata when I came to know that in the same hotel that I was staying, KK's just arrived. Okay. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm going to be probably meeting him after, maybe 10 years or something. Because I had last met him 10 years back. So I said, wow, that's great, So he's here and he was on the same floor that my room was. So I said, all right, great. So I sent a message to the reception to say that please leave a note from me in his room saying that, how about breakfast tomorrow? Because I knew that that evening was his concert. And I just sent a message and they said, okay, sir, we will let him know. Okay. And I said, tell him that I'm here and tomorrow, the next day was my break. So I said, please send him a message. So they said, okay, we'll send him a message. Don't worry about it. Next morning, when I woke up, I came down for breakfast and there was major police in the, and I heard the shocking news that he had passed away.
Oh my God.
That was that night. And so he was a few rooms away from me and he was in the same hotel and I was right there and I was hopefully having breakfast with him the next morning. It just kind of goes to say that life is too short.
Life is too short. I just got goosebumps when you said that.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
it is absolutely crazy. And I was stunned. Not that I wanted to, talk about the film or anything. And by the way, at that point of time, I had no clue that just 1 week prior to that, he had recorded this song. He had just recorded this song 1 week prior for Mukesh sir, for this film. And I was not even attached to this film at that time. So it was so funny that it was. So that's a crazy memory that I have.
And what about you?
So one of his most iconic songs, Ma, that was part of my directorial film, Yariyan. And I have sung that song over and over again to my child and put him to sleep on that song over the years. That's been my lullaby that I have, he sleeps on that song. So, so we are connected,
That's lovely. So, winding it up, thank you so much for this lovely conversation and all the best for your film. I hope it does wonders. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching and mark your dates 31st May and do go to the theatres to watch Savi. Thank you.